And here on a very warm, sunny, sticky morning, we have Her Majesty the Queen's birthday parade being held in Kowloon for the first time in 8 years. And a great deal of attention it's attracted. Here on the polo ground, there are public stands erected around 3 sides of the ground, and they are packed with spectators. The centre stand on the Nathan Road side, mainly invited guests, but the other 2 stands filled with members of the public who've been pouring in here since very soon after 8 o'clock this morning when I arrived, and there were many people here then. So that you can perhaps place me, if you know the polo ground boundary street, where I'm sitting along with other commentators from radio and television stations on a specially constructed platform about 20 feet above the ground, and on my left is the Tai Hang Tung resettlement estate. On my right is Boundary Street. Across from me, far side of the polo ground, is the Tai Hang Tung Road, and behind me is the police sports ground where the troops have been assembling this morning before marching on to the polo ground. And of course behind me again, behind the police sports ground, is Nathan Road. So that places us. All in all, that's to say, the guards on parade this morning, the musicians, the personnel taking part in the mounted drive past amounts to about 1,200 men. The guards have been drawn up on parade under the command of Brigadier Prescott, the commander 51st Infantry Brigade, for about the past 10 minutes. And at this moment, the Commander British Forces, General Sir Richard Ward, has arrived, and he's been received by the parade staff officer. And now the Commander British Forces will be received with a general salute. General salute for General Sir Richard Ward, Commander British Forces. The saluting dais is below us to our left, red carpeted, white canopy, flanked by flag masts. On the flag mast furthest from us, His Excellency the Governor's standard will be broken out on his arrival. On the right-hand flag mast, Her Majesty the Queen's standard will be broken out when she symbolically arrives. The number 1 guard on our far left is from the Royal Navy, found by HMS Diomede, and they have with them the white ensign. Numbers 2 and 3 guards from the 1st Battalion Irish Guards, and they have on parade this morning the Queen's colour and the regimental colour. Numbers 4 and 5 guards from the 1st Battalion, the Black Watch, Royal Highland Regiment, and their Queen's colour and regimental colour is also on parade. Number 6 guard from the Royal Air Force, 26th Squadron, Kai Tak, with their standard on parade this morning. Number 7 guard, 27th Signal Regiment, and the Composite Ordnance Depot. Number 8 guard, 31 Regiment Royal Corps of Transport, headquarters 31 Regiment and 56th Squadron. Number 9 guard, the Royal Military Police, Hong Kong Dog Company. And number 10 guard, the Royal Hong Kong Police Tactical Unit. Number 11 guard, number 12, 13 and 14 found from the Brigade of Gurkhas. And now a Royal Military Police motorcycle outriders, followed by a Land Rover, followed by the Governor's open rolls, passes just below us. The governor in full dress, summer uniform, plumed hat. Lady MacLehose in a close-fitting yellow hat and a powder blue dress. The doors open. The ADC takes His Excellency's plumed hat. Sir Murray steps from the car, is received by the Commander of British Forces, General Ward, and now Sir Murray moves to the saluting dais to be received with a royal salute. In a moment, the words of command from Brigadier Prescott. Royal salute for His Excellency the Governor. And now Brigadier Prescott, the parade commander, marches across the turf towards us, towards the saluting dais. His sword drawn. He'll salute His Excellency and invite him to inspect the parade. The Land Rover moves slowly up from our right, approaching the saluting dais. And in a moment, His Excellency will step into the Land Rover to begin his inspection of the guard. Portable steps carried by 2 members of the Royal Military Police are placed at the back of the Land Rover. His Excellency moves up the steps and takes his position holding the guardrail, followed by the Commander of British Forces and the ADCs, and also Brigadier Prescott, the parade commander. And the massed bands away to our far left begin to play Eileen Alana as the Land Rover with the inspecting party moves away to our left, approaching the first guard, the number 1 guard, Royal Navy, found by HMS Diomede. HMS Diomede, incidentally, is the Royal Navy's newest ship, a Leander-class general-purpose frigate. She was completed in March of last year and spent that summer of '71, undergoing equipment trials and operational workup. Of course, Diomede is named after one of the Greek heroes of the Trojan Wars, renowned for his courage and audacity. The ship is the 4th to bear the name. Captain J.L.N. Omani is in command of HMS Diomede. Now, His Excellency and the Commander of British Forces, Parade Commander and their ADCs in the Land Rover have moved slowly along the front rank of the parade and now move along towards our right, where the Gurkha guards are standing at attention. His Excellency saluting the colours as he moves past them. And now the Land Rover, away to our right, moves round to the rear rank of guards. It's an interesting point that colours on parade are lowered in salute, with the exception of the Guards' colours, the Irish Guards, who lower their colours in salute only to the sovereign and certain members of the British royal family and to heads of other states. They will lower their colours only once on parade here this morning, and that is when Her Majesty is symbolically present. Now the Land Rover moving quite quickly from our right towards our left along the rear rank of the Guard, approaching now the rear rank of number 1 Guard, the Royal Navy. Drawn up at the far side of the polo ground from us, that's the Tai Hang Tung Road side, are the vehicles which will take part in the mounted drive past later in this morning's parade. And of course the entire parade will be making a flag march down Nathan Road into Gascoigne Road and dispersing at Gun Club Barracks. They're due to move away from the polo ground here on Boundary Street at about 10:30. And there are a great many niceties of military protocol to be borne in mind. The Royal Air Force, for instance, carries a standard. The Royal Navy carries the White Ensign. There are Queen's colours and regimental colours on parade, and the Royal Hong Kong Regiment, the Volunteers, carries a guidon. And it becomes necessary to bear these points in mind, because there are sometimes sensitive persons in the armed forces who take strong objection when these symbols are misnamed. And now the Land Rover, flying His Excellency's standard from the bonnet, moves just below us, having reached the end of this inspection. It approaches the saluting dais now. Once again the portable steps are brought forward and placed at the back of the Land Rover. His Excellency's personal standard floats in the slight breeze here this morning from the left-hand flag mast on the left of the saluting dais. And now His Excellency again moves to the saluting dais. Brigadier Prescott salutes with his sword and moves back to his position at the head of the parade. And now chairs are brought for His Excellency and for General Ward, the Commander of British Forces, and in a moment on the command troop, the massed bands will move past from our left to our right in slow and then in quick time. And here come the massed bands, moving in slow time. The sun quite high in the sky now, glinting on their instruments and on the maces of the drum majors. And here they come now, approaching our commentary position. The drum majors from the Royal Hong Kong Police, Irish Guards, Black Watch, and Brigade of Gurkhas. Their maces moving as one, headed by the drum major of the Irish Guards. The musicians of the Black Watch in their dark tartans, massive bear skins with the red cockade. It's a very impressive sight as the drum majors now countermarch back through the ranks of the musicians. Just behind our stand and a little to our left is the small Polo Ground Pavilion with its gently sloping open roof, and there chairs have been set out in rows for members of the Consular Corps, heads of government departments, and members of the judiciary and senior army officers. Lady MacLehose, Lady Ward, Lady Rigby, wife of the Chief Justice, are there in the front row, as is Mr. Roberts, the Attorney General, Mr. Sutcliffe, Commissioner of Police, and his daughter, and many other familiar faces in the rows of seats behind them. Members of Executive and Legislative Council. I can see Dr. Sir Albert Rodriguez in a black suit and black Homburg. Many of the spectators in that VIP stand on the pavilion roof are shielding their faces with their programs. The sun is now quite high and very hot. In a moment, the mass bands will break into quick time. And there they go. And now as they swing away from immediately below us, away to our left again, let's listen to them for a while. This music is called Pentland Hills. And away to our left, the massed bands fall silent. And the next step in this morning's ceremonial is the march past of the guards.
The parade will march past in quick time. Stand fast, number 11 to 14 guards, numbers 1 to 10 guards. Move to the right in column of threes. Right, stand.
Numbers 1 to 10 guards move to the right. That was Brigadier Prescott, the parade commander, giving the words of command. The 11 to 14 guards, which of course are drawn from the Brigade of Gurkhas, stand fast. This section of the guards will march past at the routine 120 paces per minute. Of course, the Gurkhas march at 140. His Excellency the Commander of British Forces now stand, the chairs having been removed from the saluting dais. His Excellency prepares to take the salute as the number 1 guard wheels away to our left, and in a moment will swing down towards us and past the saluting dais. Number 1 guard found by HMS Diomede. The white ensign flying. And as the number 1 guard in the senior service eyes right as they passed the dais, of course we heard Hearts of Oak. Brigadier Prescott, having passed the saluting dais, moves away off the parade, from the march past, and takes up his position to the right of the saluting dais, standing to attention and with drawn sword. His Excellency and all officers around the saluting dais salute, and all spectators below us rise to pay respect to the colours. The regimental colour and the Queen's colour. And now the Black Watch, the Royal Highland Regiment, passing us at this moment. A regiment formed in 1739 from a number of independent companies, raised to police or watch the Highlands of Scotland, still turbulent as a result of the 1715 rebellion. And these men were dressed in a dark tartan and doublet, and this contrasted with the bright scarlet and white of the English. And so they came to be known as the Black Watch. And of course the name has remained ever since. The Royal Air Force, in khaki and blue, their standard flying. And now the Royal Hong Kong Regiment, the Volunteers. Was the Volunteers first formed in 1854 for the protection of the colony when the departure of the fleet for the Crimean War left Hong Kong undefended. 2 years ago, the Queen honoured the regiment by bestowing the title Royal and ordering that the suffix the Volunteers should be included henceforth in its title. Now the Corps of Royal Military Police and the Royal Hong Kong Police Force. Seeing the police unit go by reminds us that it was more than 120 years ago that Captain Kane took on the job of organizing Hong Kong's first police force, which then consisted of 11 European and 21 Chinese officers. Today it has 12,000 odd officers and men. The force was known in those days, 120 years ago, as Kane's Errand Men. And now the rear rank of guards, having passed the saluting dais, are now making their way back to their original positions at the far side of the parade ground. That's the Tai Hang Tung Road side. Forming a second rank of guards. Ending of the music there by the massed bands drawn up in front of the parade in a square indicates that the dismounted element has returned to its positions on the parade, and in a moment we shall hear the brisk sound, and there it goes, the music for the Gurkha Guards moving off at 140 paces a minute. The officers carrying swords, the soldiers carrying their rifles at the trail. And the Gurkhas formed the guards on our far right. Now they're moving off, moving from our right away to our left, and then they'll wheel left and left again to march past the saluting dais. Another small point which I must confess I hadn't noticed in many years of reporting these parades, but which I did notice at a full dress rehearsal of this parade last Wednesday morning. At one point I noticed during a playing of the national anthem that His Excellency's ADC did not salute, and I was intrigued by this and made inquiries and discovered that an ADC, when in attendance upon His Excellency, is not required to salute. The idea being, presumably, that he devotes entirely all his time and attention to the dignitary whom he is serving. The smart left turn, and the Gurkhas come swinging down towards the saluting dais. And of course, at 140 paces a minute, their feet seem to twinkle compared to the 120 paces a minute we were watching a few minutes ago. Eyes right as the first of the Gurkha guards moves past the dais. Incidentally, two of the Gurkha guards, numbers 11 and 12 guards, will be firing the feu de joie in salute to Her Majesty later in this parade, when we have the 21-gun salute and feu de joie, the fire of joy. Numbers 11 and 12 guards from the 2nd Battalion, 2nd King Edward VII's own Gurkha Rifles, the Silmour Rifles. And there goes the last of the Gurkha guards. And very smart they are. And they make their way, march back to their original positions on our right of the parade to the music of Scotland the Brave. Now there's a faint rumble of engines in the background as the mounted element of the parade moves round away to our far left, and in a moment they'll be approaching us as they come towards the saluting dais. The mounted element, B Squadron, the 14th, 20th King's Hussars leading. The squadron leader, Major Hire Lyford, who stands at attention, facing us and facing His Excellency in the leading Land Rover. He comes to the salute. And then come the reconnaissance scout cars, and the Saladin armored cars. Their gun turrets pointing towards the saluting dais, dipped in salute. The spectators below us rise, paying respect to the guns. And 4 Sphinx Light Battery Royal Artillery. And again, respect is paid to the guns. And the 2 NCOs who flank the saluting dais stand at the present as the guns go by. And out of the music of the leather bottle, the Royal Hong Kong Regiment, the Volunteers, move past. Very smart in their full dress uniform, commanded by Captain Malig. Ferret Scout cars, Ferret Troop Leader Captain Lemming, Troop Leaders Captain Lei and Lieutenant Ng King Chung. The Volunteers Guidon, in deep red edged with gold, carried by Warrant Officer Pintos. Ferret Scout cars and Land Rovers of the Royal Hong Kong Regiment, the Volunteers. And now the Royal Hong Kong Police. Commander of the Mounted Detachment, Inspector Stenton. Saracen armored cars. Massive vehicles in the deep blue police color. And that is the end of the drive past. All these vehicles, of course, will be moving down Nathan Road later on when the parade here at the Polo Ground is finished. The mass bands now move away to our left. And now, in a minute or two, we shall come to the high point of this parade, the symbolic arrival of Her Majesty the Queen. At which point the parade will give a royal salute, all colours will be lowered, the bands will play the national anthem, and the royal standard will be broken from the right-hand flag mast. The mass bands countermarch away to our far left. Strictly speaking, it is not protocol or courtesy perhaps to talk through this salute, though it is a fairly long process. But I will hold my peace, I think, and leave you with the boom of the guns and the crackle of the feu de joie. End of the 21-gun salute and the feu de joie. The royal standard is lowered, symbolizing the departure of Her Majesty the Queen. His Excellency's standard is hoisted once again, as he once again, as it were, becomes the Queen's representative.
Stop!
A royal salute for His Excellency before his departure. All colours dipped in salute, with the exception of the Irish Guards, and their colour remained flying. It's interesting to note that Sir Murray salutes in the naval style, with the palm of his hand, as it were, downward rather than facing outward. This, I suppose, is a relic of his naval service in wartime.